Welcome to the session number 15. That is our concluding session of PM102 Patanjali meditation 102 on Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Last week we came towards the end of the second chapter of Sadhanapad. Let's look at those slides. This is our session number 15, and here we will conclude this course. Last week we discussed the three limbs of Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. From having had discussed Yam and Niyam, we went through Asana, Pranayam, and Pratyahara. Asana was related to the body posture. Pranayam, the fourth limb, regulated breathing. And then we discussed the benefits of both asana and pranayama. Then towards the end, we looked at pratyahara, which is almost disconnecting from the external world. And that was the conclusion of second chapter called Sadhanapad. Now Patanjali is discussing Ashtanga Yoga in second chapter, but the last three limbs of it, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, he has taken them in the third chapter. So today we will have a look at it and why he has changed to the third chapter. Third chapter is called Vibhuti Path. Vibhuti means some sort of special extraordinary powers. Let's look at them. So third chapter begins from 3.1 Desh Bandhas Chittasya Dharana. So Chitta is focused at certain locations. Desh is where I am residing, this human body. It could be external object as well, but generally, like in our practice, we focus at the third eye, where the nose and eyebrows meet. So when mind is focused there, so we translate dharana as concentration. When chit is bonded with an object, when an object is under the focus. But other things intrude, that the object is not thoroughly sustained, which becomes clear in the next statement. So you are focusing on something, on your object, so to say, but there may be, it disappears and something else appears, and then you are conscious, you come back to that desired object. So that sort of slight fluctuations are there, though you want to be fully concentrated. When that becomes sustained, so that is what is tattva within dharana. When does it become dhyan? Dhyan we translated meditation. Pratyaya ekatanata. Pratyaya was the object which you have chosen. Ektanta is now it is sustained. So of course in dharana it was not fully sustained. Now when that gets sustained, it becomes dhyan. So when dharana improves, that the object is well sustained, then it is dhyan, meditation. But again, there is so-called what is called triputi. There is trinity of three units are there. Indeed, you are aware that of yourself, the practitioner who is meditating. So you are in meditation, you are in dhyan, You are focused on that object, but not only that object, you are aware of your own self also. And you are aware of the mind that is displaying that object. So there are three units here. The person who is meditating, the object he is deeply focused into sustained manner. Plus there is an instrument which is bringing that object to him, which is of course our chitta here. So chitta is existing in your mind. You are aware of your chitta, which is the instrument. You are aware of the object, and you are aware of your own self. The object is now in sustained manner, but besides object, you are aware of yourself as well as the instrument. Just to make it clear what this trinity is, I give an example. Suppose in a worldly session, I have a photograph in front of me which displays a cow. The image is cow, the object is cow, but the instrument is the photograph. And I am, through my eyes, I am looking at this photograph. I am the observer. The instrument is cow, instrument is photograph, and the object is the cow. So we are aware of this kind of a situation. I am very intensely looking at this photograph. Now nothing else is visible to me. I am absolutely focused on that. I don't hear any sound. I am not aware of any other object. That is the only object. But also I am aware of that this object I am getting to perceive it is on a photograph. It is not the real cow. And I am aware of my own self. This is now dhyan. This will now graduate further, what is called samadhi. In samadhi, what will happen? If I continue with this example of looking at the photograph of a cow, now suppose I get so much absorbed in that object, namely the cow, that I forget I am looking at its photograph. As if this is the real cow I am observing, and I forget about my own self. So when only the object survives, that will be samadhi. So let's look at it, dharana, dhyan and samadhi. I have an photograph of a cow, that is my desired object. I am looking at it, but in between somebody's words come into my mind or something else happens or my eyes go elsewhere. This is now dharana. Though I want to be focused on this photograph, but somehow my mind slips away. This is dharana. If my mind is so focused that I don't go anywhere else and am fully absorbed in this photograph, then that is dhyan. But dhyan also implicitly, I have threefold existence. I am looking at this object, but I know the object is not real cow. It is my desired object, but I am looking at the photograph of the cow. And I am also aware of my own self. I am observing the picture, photograph of a cow, and cow is my desired object, which I want to focus on. Now, when the instrument of the photograph vanishes, and I have no more awareness of my own self, I am fully absorbed in the desired object of the cow, that would be samadhi. So like in our case, we say we walk into the sky, get into a cave where nothing else is there. If I am fully absorbed there, look at its statement, third point here. Tadev arthamatra, only earth, only the object is nebhasam. Bhasana is a Sanskrit word. I am aware of that only. But then Swayup Sunya Miva, you is there as if I am void of my own Swayup, as if I am unaware of my own self. But it is not fully I am, that is why the suffix "iv" is there, as if I am aware. Because it is not fully Swayup Sunya. Tada dashtu Swayupe avasthanam. So that Swayup is not yet here. I am lost into that object. I am not aware of myself as if I am not aware of myself. Thereupon, improved meditation leads to samadhi when only the object survives and the practitioner and chit as if almost fade away. Continuing with the above example, which was the photograph of a cow, and I have awareness about the animal called cow and nothing else, neither about myself and nor the photograph. So, sometimes we get lost into something too that deeply. So now it is chapter 3 is starting with these three statements, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. And now the whole chapter is called Vibhuti Path. So please remember, Ashtanga Yoga is for those people who are who are their mind is with the klesh, of course, and klesh has become impurities. So we are all worldly people. These are for the worldly people. And worldly people are very proud of their mind, their mental faculty, and so on and so forth. That is the direction Patanjali is now taking them, that if you have gained the ability, you are so much focused on something, then you can achieve a lot. So subsequent statements are in that direction. We won't be going into those details. So now he brings another term called Sanyam, integration, I am translating it as, and devoting 2 slides on that. It begins with Tayam Ekatya Sanyama. This Sanjaya Sutra is defining what is Sanyam. What is when three of them, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. Dharana was you had a desired object. Now you are so focused, it is sustained, that is Dhyan. Samadhi, now there is nothing but that object. So, like we know, there was somebody who was practicing the arrow and bow thing, and his teacher asked him, "What are you looking at?" He said, "I can look at that model of the bird eye only." So that is, he was Teyamekat Sanyam. Now you are so much focused, he can see nothing else, only that model bird's eye only. So of course, it's very likely that his arrow will go right to the target. So this is the example of Sanyam. But he's practicing archery. He's not doing meditation, is it not? So this is an example of a person who is very focused in a particular skill and is strengthening that skill. So that is Teyam Ekatya Sanyama. Now this group of people are not much concerned about the objective of Tadadas to self-realization. So whole purpose of yoga was yoga chitta vetti nirodha. Now chit has a vetti, though it is that one. It is not total chitta vetti nirodha. And if you have total chitta vetti nirodha, then you have tadadrashtu swarupe avasthanam, self-realization. So please remember, Ashtanga Yoga is for worldly people. And as I gave you the example that archery practice. So these are those people who are practicing like a magician, a particular magical trick, or like a person who has an ability to do hypnotism. They practice for months and years, or like musical skills. These are those kind of practice. So here samadhi doesn't mean you are with the Ishwar, etc. Here Sanyam is dharana, dhyan, and samadhi integrated into what you desired, your particular object. Now, if that happens, If you are repeated practice, if your Sanyam is, you are mastering in Sanyam, then Tajjayat, having mastered Sanyam, Pajyaloka, your mind will gain new insights. Your intellect will gain new insights. 3.6 is saying, Tasya Bhumishu Viniyoga. Viniyog is we should do it, should be attempted. That Sanyam should be attempted in Chitt in various stages and up to the point of discrimination. That if your Chitt is blank, that will be the Vivek Khyati, when Chitt is absolutely blank. So he is saying your object that you started with, if you are regularly practicing it, your object can be almost like a blank spot also. That will take you to the. So this is statement is saying what I am teaching you, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, and sanyam and practice is capable of taking you up to the vivek khyati, blank chit also. So theoretically that is possible. But it will come at the end of third chapter. So you will see in the third chapter, he is motivating a person of this category in the direction of Sanyam, and he is saying what all you can achieve. But then he is justifying in next two statement why he switched the chapter path to Vibhuti path. This term is these three, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi, are antarang, they are inner yoga. Purvebhya, the previous 5 which were Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahara. So, relative to the previous 5 limbs, these three are internal yoga, so to say. The three are inner yoga as compared to the previous ones, which were 5. So, he is justifying it, why he switched the chapter, because they are more internal thing than the previous 5. But then he's not correcting himself. He is saying this is not the end of the story. Tadapi, even then, Bahirang, they are outer compared to Nibij Samadhi. So first chapter was ending with, which we didn't go up to that point, but first chapter ended with Nibij Samadhi, that even seeds of the sanskar are vanished. They are burnt out, so to say. So that was Samadhi path. That completes the story of yoga from Patanjali's point of view. But then second chapter was for second category of people, and now we are in the third category of people. So he is reminding, even this is inner yoga, but this is also outer as compared to the Nibij Samadhi. So this is not the end of it. And then he will, third and fourth chapter, in third chapter he will give all the Vibhuti path. And then fourth chapter is Kevalya path, where he will say that actually all this Sanyam and all this practice, the proper ending is Vivek Khyati and Kevalya and maybe Samadhi, etc. But he is motivating because the worldly people are interested in worldly benefits. So he is taking that into account. So I'm just bringing out a few of the statements from third and fourth chapter as we conclude our current course, which is, as far as we are concerned, we have learned enough, including the practice part. But to give you a overview of, if we have skipped the later part of first chapter and we are skipping the third and fourth chapter, except the first 8 statements of chapter 3. I am just trying to bring out so that you have some kind of a full picture. 37th and 38th, Tata Pratib Shravan Vedana Darshas Vedana Adarshas vata jayante. He is describing all those extraordinary powers. Then tata is out of that, you will have all kinds of proficiency which has been overheard and you are able to acquire them, but it is taking you not into the desired direction. Jayante, it gives you, and that it clarifies in the next, te samadha upsarga. So the samadhi, which was our desired goal, upsarga, it is peripheral to all that. And why? Vyuthane, because vyuthan means the agitated mind, you know. We have not covered that. They are the mind, the chit has five stages, so to say. The one is called kshipta, when it is very, very disturbed and agitated. Sometimes we are very disturbed, then somebody says, can you sit and calm your mind? You will say, no, my mind is very disturbed. Some untoward incident has happened. So that is called kshipta mind. Kshipta. Mood is when it is dull. I am not able to absorb anything, like I am in sleep. Vikshipt is like it is kshipt, but with practice, I am able to focus on something. So this is what ordinary people in ordinary stages. Somebody draws my attention. May I have your attention? Then he says a sentence. Then I listen to his sentence very carefully. I am focused for that. Otherwise, I was moving here and there, my mind was. But when he was asking for my attention, I was quite focused and I picked up what he was saying. So that is a state vikshipt. It is not fully kshipt, vishesh kshipt. If it is required, I can be focused. Then it is called ekagya. Ekagya is when I am very sustained. Sustainedly, I am focused on certain thing. I am studying for several minutes and an hour, and my mind doesn't go elsewhere. Sometimes, even when you are watching a television program, half an hour, if you enjoy it that much, then you are very ekagya. Throughout those 25, 30 minutes, nothing else came in your mind, isn't it? So that is ekagya. When there is an object and you are focused. Then the fifth state is called niyuddha. Niyuddha is yogaschitvete niyodha. When mind is niyuddha, it is blank mind for a sustained. So in a day-to-day situation, our mind goes to kshipta, which is very highly disturbing. Mood, it is dull. Vikshipta, it is reasonably working. Wherever I want to focus for some small time duration, I can do it. Ekagya, very well focused for sustained, and niyudh. Niyudh is what is called desired. When chittavritti niyodha has taken place, I am saying my mind is niyudh. That is what is most desired. So, a ordinary man, like we are in that class, we spend 24 hours in these kind of states, but when we sit for meditation, 15, 20 minutes, maybe for a couple of minutes, we are in this niyuddha state. But then also not absolutely sarvavritti niyodha. We are probably in some pajat samadhi or some intermediate stage. So this is where I was trying to say, I'm trying to explain what is the word vyuthan means. The first three states are called as vyuthan. Vyuthan is uthan. Mind is going upward somewhere, active mind. So what he's saying at the end of the third chapter, all these vibhuti paths, all these extraordinary powers, they are peripheral to samadhi because they are treated as vyuthan. Siddhi is all those powers you have gained. So these are worldly powers. All kinds of people with a lot of labor, skills, and knowledge, they gain some power. Like somebody can say, can almost identify what is dog trying to convey, the dog's language, is it not? Somebody gets an expertise, he looks at a psychotherapist, he looks at somebody's face and is able to say what is in his mind, so to say. Reading somebody's mind or bringing somebody's mind to a state, what is called hypnotism. So there are extraordinary powers, which is what is the subject of the third chapter called Vidbhuti. And once they are acquired, it becomes your siddhi. You are siddhi. And then Patanjali is saying this is not the right direction from Yoga Chittavitti Nirodha point of view. But this is all one can acquire with Sanyam and its day-to-day practice. Then he describes in fourth chapter, first few, a major part of the first section, that our objective is Kevalya, when I am disconnect from my chitta. So then he is trying to convince, this is all for our worldly people, that yes, these powers are good, but you should utilize it for Vivek Khyati. And that word has come here, Sankhyan. Khyati is, you know it probably, Vishwavikyat. We have such words in our language. Khyati means it is well known. When it has appeared, so easy, like the sun is rising, everybody can see it. There can be no illusion, no doubt. So this is Khyati. It is so obviously clear. So Sankhya means, that's how the word Sankhya comes. Some is samyak arthe, properly. So when Sankhya actually means, it is very, very clear. If I say this is one book, that's how the word number is coming, and that's why the word Sankhya means number. When we say one book, it is so obvious, yes, it is one book. When we say it is two books, even a child can count, yes, these are two books. So there is absolutely no doubt, no ambiguity, no illusion, nothing is there. Then it becomes Sankhya. So he's saying Prasankhya. Pra is another prefix, Prakashtathe, when it is so engraved in you that this is Prasankhya. Sarvatha Vivekhyate Dharma Megha Samadhi. So he's saying the direction that he has given for Ashtanga Yoga. If somebody practices very well, this will take you to Vivek Khyati, and that particular Samadhi is called as Dharma Megha Samadhi. Just a name. Megh is like a cloud. If it is raining, the cloud is just pouring water underground on the surface of the earth, is it not? So Dharma Megha Samadhi is when your practice has become so intense that that kind of samadhi is there, then you will have Vivek Khyati. So he's trying to channelize your mental and intellectual strength in the direction of Vivek Khyati. Now he's saying, you will remember, whole thing started with Klesh was there. Second chapter was Tap Swadhyaya Ishwar Parinadhani Kriya Yoga. Why do we do it? Samadhi Bhavanartha, Klesh Tanu Karnartha. So that he is saying Tata Klesh Karma Nivette. So with Dharma Megha Samadhi, the Klesh, and what does Klesh do? You go after all kinds of effort and karma, which brings reward. So all that cycle is diminished. Niveti, now there will be diminishing of Klesh, diminishing of your karma, diminishing of its rewards, and so on and so forth. So you are washing away all this from your ahankar, from your memory. Tada, then sarvavarna mala petasya syan navyajeyam alpam janasya anantya jan. So there is a theory here, mal avarna and vikshep. So this is Patanjali's theory. These are all for ordinary people. So what is it? The chitta has three factors. Why we cannot do the chitta vritti nirodha? Because chitta has mal. Mal is impurities. Avarn there is a covering, and there is a vikshep. There is a fluctuation. So the example is given. Say I stand at the edge of a water body, water pond, and I want to see my image, then that requires three factors. The water should be clear, no mud, no impurities in the water, that is mud. There should be no aware. If there is a wall between me and the water, I am not aware of it. Then also I cannot see my picture. There is a lake nearby, but I am not aware of it. Aware. And then Vikshep, even if I go there, Awareness is removed and water is also clear. But if there are ripples on the water, then also I cannot see it. So that is what is translated into mind. Mind should be void of impurities, and awareness here is the knowledge. There are many people who are not bothered about it because they don't have the knowledge of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. So they have to clear this hurdle, then get rid of the impurities, and then practice it, is it not? So Ashtanga Yoga, he is trying to say, is a composite prescription whereby the knowledge will appear, you will become aware of all this, how to do it and what are its benefits and so on. So that will motivate your mind, it will get rid of the impurities of your mind, and it will also remove the fluctuations of your mind. So that is what tada, all this happens. So like the negativities are diminishing, and by the positivities are flourishing. And what is that positivity? Is you acquire this kind of knowledge which leads you to what you wanted to know. GA is what you wanted to know. What we wanted to know was self realization. For that, also, I need the knowledge to go to that point. So he is saying, now I'm just reproducing the last 4 or 5 statements, how he is navigating the Vibhuti path and the Ashtanga Yoga to the ultimate objective of yoga. Tata ketat thanam. Ket is what I have done. Ketat is what I have achieved. Tata ketat thanam parinam kam samapte gunana. That way I am acquiring. Ketat is I have acquired something. Krit is what was to be acquired. So as I am acquiring the finer abilities, parinam kam. Parinam is fluctuations and modifications. So in this philosophy, the me, my consciousness, doesn't go through any change. It is aparinami. But in day-to-day life, we see all kinds of multitudes of events. All that is happening because my mind is going through changes. So my mind is parinami. It goes through various fluctuations and changes, particularly of chitta. That is what I am observing. So you remember the thumb in the fist. I am that thumb. I go through no change whatsoever. All the changes are taking place in the chitta, which is the inner part of my palm. And that is made of matter. Matter is with three strands, what is called guna, guna nam. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. We have discussed it, Prakash, Kriya, Sthiti, Shilam, etc. So those fluctuations give rise to all kinds of what is called Vachitrayam. This universe is fantastic, Prapanch or Vachitrayam, whatever. This Vichitra is coming from all the fluctuations on my chitta. So he is saying that When I am gaining these abilities, which we have discussed in 30th and 31st, what is happening is this Parinam Kam Samapti. You know, these Gunanam, this was interplay of these three gunas that was leading to Parinam. So Parinam has a sequence that is called Parinam Kam, and that sequence is ending with Parinam Kam Samapti. So these words have a philosophical meaning. What it means is gunas, the three strands in my chitta, were causing all kinds of parinam. The pictures, the images on my chitta in a particular sequence, like the cinema is about to end now. So that's what he's saying. The inner cinema, it will end now. And then Purushat Sunyanam, now you are left with no other objective. No other objective. Gunanam Pati Pasava, they will go back where they came from. Pasav is taking birth, Pati Pasav is going backward. So this Chitta came from the Prakriti, this will go back where it came from. And now this Purush has no, Purusharth means anything more to be achieved. He is Purusharth Sunyanam. There is nothing more for him to achieve. This is going back to where it came from. Kaivalyam, that is the stage called Kaivalya. And in Kaivalya, you are Swarup Pratishtha. You are absorbed in your own self. Vachiti Shakti iti. And that is what is the consciousness. Shakti is the power of consciousness. You know, the philosophy is this is me, the thumb. This is not, it is not that in day to day language we sometimes say, my property, my characteristic is consciousness. But in this philosophy, it is not my attribute. I am consciousness itself. My swarup is chit swarup. If you remember, Aishma's second principle is Ishwar Satchidananda Swarup. Swarup means this is what Ishwar is. It is not that Ishwar has the characteristic of Sat, Chit and Anand. No. That is what he is. Let me, I think I tried to explain it once. This lamp has given me light. There is a lamp giving me light. If you are good in mathematics, if you have done calculus, etc., you will know it. If you take the limit that filament is now zero, it's like a point. So filament doesn't exist. Imaginary light, there is no such real light because every light in the man-made light will have a my tiny filament, tiny source, is it not? But mathematically in your mind, you take the limit that filament of the lamp is now zero size. Yet it is emitting light. Imagine something like that. Or like we have a insect called jugnu that emits light. But that also has a size. Imagine that is now zero size. Now what will you call it? You will say that is lamp which gives light. Now somebody says, what is lamp? You will not be able to say lamp has a characteristic of light because that light itself is the lamp. Because it is zero size, is it not? So that is what its swarup. So if there was that imaginary lamp, I will tell my child, there is a lamp which, what does it do? It emits light. So as if the function of the lamp is to give light. But then I will tell him philosophically, actually, that does nothing but giving light. So that is what is true own nature. So that is the swarup of that. So that is what now you apply to yourself. All my Atma is zero size. Light, that light is different, that is consciousness. So deep inside me, somebody is sitting there, and that emits, it is not emitting physical light, it is emitting the light of consciousness. It leaves, I am dead body. Just imagine that light is very powerful. Light, it is light of consciousness. So that is my swaroop, is it not? It is not, this is what I am. Consciousness is myself. So the Prakriti is Satrup, it is awake. The Atma, ourself, our consciousness is Sat and Chit Roop. So that is my Swarup. So that is what he is saying. I will be established in my Swarup. And what is my Swarup? Chiti Shakti, that power of consciousness. With that, he ends the book. End of the book is signified by iti. That's it. So what he has brought us to the point that with Ashtanga Yoga, if it is properly channelized, I will go to this point that I will again be in Swarup Pratishtha and I will know what truly I am. I am Chiti Shakti only. It's just philosophical term. It means it is not that I am somebody with my characteristic is consciousness. I am consciousness itself. Okay, that has brought us to the point, and it is time 8 o'clock. As we, I think I can end the course Patanjali Meditation 102 at this point, and I tried to bring in practice, and many of you have practiced what we call PM20 and PM30. So today I want to do PM20 in slightly modified form. All of you contributed to, and that's what is one of my purpose for this course. Of course, trying to convey to you what I know about Patanjali's teachings, but also I wanted some of you to be confident with with the background of theoretical knowledge of Patanjali Yoga Sutra to deliver to a newcomer what is the flavor of Patanjali meditation. So we devised PM20 in particular with a newcomer in mind, and it evolved out of certain weeks. We prepared it, and all of us contributed to it. And then we have gone in the direction of PM30 also, using Gayatri Mantra. But in last few days, I got a feedback. This was a feedback from the other side, one of the attendee of our PM20, and I liked his suggestion. He suggested, if you remember in our PM20, we are going through 3 steps of Patanjali's, namely we call it disciplining the body and breathing and mind. Let me come to the webinar room. In our PM20, we are trying to say we discipline body, then breathing and mind. There were 2 cycles. In one cycle, we demonstrate and explain these steps, and then we say, let's walk together along these steps. Then we were ending at the process of meditation. So this gentleman made a good suggestion that we can combine them. And then I have done it. Indeed, as you know, we are delivering uh, through internet webinar sessions PM20 and PM30. So this particular Monday, I indeed did it that way. And I noticed we have without compromising, without diluting the message, we get some extra couple of minutes. So I just thought, as I am ending this course, deliver this the way I have done it in last Monday in the webinar mode of PM20. So here it begins. This is exact 8 o'clock here. And let me set an alarm for 8:20. So we will have an idea How does it go? So here it begins now. Welcome to the session on Patanjali meditation. We will devote next 20 minutes to bring our mind to a state of meditation when mind is blank, empty, calm, void of any activity, void of any thoughts. We are following Patanjali's prescription, original author of the original book on yoga called Sutras, Yoga Darshan. He suggests 3 steps to go to that state: discipline our body, disciplining the breathing, then disciplining the mind. We discipline our body, we sit cross legged, we put our hands on the knees, or we can bring them together, one palm above another, this way or that way, or fingers are interlocked. Whatever is natural to you, you follow your body instinct. And generally, we take care that our spine is erect, lower back, shoulders, and neck is in a straight line. Not too rigid, loose and relaxed. And as we proceed further, like I have a habit to remove my external objects, we shake away any stiffness from the major bone joints and feel generally good, loose and relaxed. Now we discipline our breathing. We do what is called deep breathing, diaphragmatic abdominal breathing, each breathing cycle with 4 phases. In phase 1, my fingers will indicate what phase I am in. In phase 1, I do deep breathe out, emptying air from my abdomen and throwing out through my nostrils. Here I begin phase 1. And if I hold my palm on the abdomen, it is moving inward. Now I am in phase 2. I maintain the vacuum in my abdomen. Don't let any air go in. At the onset of discomfort, I do the inhalation, deep breathe in, that is phase 3, through the nostrils. My abdomen is expanding outward as air is being filled in. At the end, now I am in phase 4. I hold the breath within me. Again, up to the point of slightest discomfort. Now I do breathe out. That is phase 1 of the next cycle. So let's do 3 such cycles uninterrupted, one after another. Here it begins. Deep breathe out, abdomen moving inward. Hold the breath out, no abdominal movement. Deep breathe in, abdomen expands outward. Hold the breath within, no abdominal movement. Cycle number 2, deep breathe out, abdomen moving inward. Hold the breath out, no abdominal movement. Deep breathe in, abdomen expands outward. Hold the breath within, no abdominal movement. Now third and final cycle, deep breathe out. Hold the breath out. Deep breathe in. Hold the breath within. That completes our second step to discipline our breathing. We are taking a pause, basically handing over our breathing mechanism to the body system. Body does it in its automated manner. As we go into the third step, we want to become unconcerned about our breathing. Now we wish to discipline our mind. We recite a code word to instruct our mind to stay calm and word of thought. The sound is Oh. It begins from the navel area, ending with the lips closing. Not too short, not too long. I am doing it again. Oh. In the third step, we recite this sound 5 times together in diminishing volume. As soon as the sound ends, we focus our mind at the third eye, where the eyebrows and nose meet. We stay focused there for a couple of few seconds and confident that my mind is settled there. I observe with my eyes closed. I observe in my upper forehead. Imagine there is an sky with an expanse. I'm walking into the horizon, homogeneous sky, nothing is happening. Getting lost into nothingness is meditation. Should it happen, you are in meditation, but a thought wave is about to strike you. You should remind your mind again with that sound, reciting mentally. Oh. So this sound is to instruct your mind to stay inactive, word of thoughts. And in case you begin to entertain a thought wave, just do a single deep breathe out and imagine that whole web of thought has been thrown out. Again, instruct your mind with the sound, oh, mentally recite. We are ready now to recite this sound 5 times together and walk into meditation. Let's do it. Oh. 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 We'll gradually open our eyes. So that was 20 minutes devoted to Patanjali meditation. I think this was a good example here in this particular manner. We have more time for real meditation without any loss of instruction. I think it brings us to the conclusion of the course, which I enjoyed very much. Thank you all for joining.